Hey guys, today I want to break down the finals of the Heidenheim men's epee competition that happened a few weeks ago. It's between Davide Veroli of Italy and Tibor Andrasfi from Hungary. I know the score and the outcome of that bout. I haven't watched it yet. What I figured I would do is kind of walk you through their data, start there, talk about it, and then once I go through the data and explain their game, do a little bit of live commentary. So, Veroli. Love his fencing. This man has the best half retreat in the game. He can plant that back foot backwards. Somebody will sucker right into his distance, step in, and he has these well-timed flushes. Or they think that he's coming forward, re-entering distance. Somebody will launch an attack and prep on him, and his hand is fast, extremely good on the blade. He's able to find that defense as well. Well-rounded fencer and just incredible at using his feet to sucker his opponents into stupid decisions. Andrasfi. Typical Hungarian technician, very, very athletic, light on his feet, explosive. The man excels really, really well in counter-offensive game and pulling his opponent, and has this explosive flesh, especially that he takes with poor opposition, that is exceptionally good. Big fan of his fencing. So, let's talk a little bit about both of them, right? Let's talk about the push-pull first, all right? So, Andrasfi, at his best when he's in the pool game, going there about 73% of the time. Veroli's about 67% right there. Both of them have exceptionally good attacks. So 45% of Andrasfi's attacks are going to result in a single light. That's pretty damn good. Veroli's not far behind him at 41%. You factor in the double touches, gets up to about 76% for both of them. Defensive game also, those numbers might look low to you, but actually you hover around the 40% mark with defense, and that's a pretty good track record because this is very much right now a offensive oriented game. Both of them similar ratios, 60-40 attack to defense ratio for Andrasfi and about 62-38 for Veroli. And again, their combined offense defense, 46% for Andrasfi, 40% for Veroli, pretty good. Most of these guys, no surprise here. Veroli, multi-tempo fencer, a lot of parry reposts, things like that. So no surprise that he's multi-tempo. It's actually funny. I would have guessed, without looking at my data, I would have probably said Andrasfi was a single tempo fencer, but that's not the case. Data says 54% of his attacks are coming out multi-tempo. So lastly, I want to talk a little bit about their archetype profiles. You see Andrasfi on the top, Veroli on the bottom. First of all, Veroli has a 4.5 success ratio on pushing and attacking. Patently absurd. The only one that he's sub 1.0 on is with pulling and attacking. I think really Veroli's at his best playing more of a pushing, swarming game than a counter-offensive one, but occasionally watching him, he really does pull out that counter-offensive game when he can. Andrasfi, well-rounded all around. No archetypes really below 1.0, but the ones where he really, really excels are in the two attack archetypes. So 2.3 success ratio by pushing and attacking, and a 2.18 by pulling and attacking. So where do I think this bout's going to go? I think realistically, what you're going to see is Veroli probably start by pushing, imposing, swarming, and basically drawing out Andrasfi's attack using Veroli's feet, finding the blade, and playing more of a defensive game. I think as he takes a lead, he will probably transition more towards a counter-offensive game, because the one strength of Andrasfi that you really want to be able to neutralize is that step into distance where he has this explosive flesh. He finds your blade in opposition and manages to hit you before the front foot hits the ground. He's also got a really, really subtle, strong blade technique as well. You always see the subtlety in the Hungarians, but controls that blade very well. So I think what you're going to see with Veroli is probably a lot of setting up with his feet to draw Andrasfi out in the beginning of the bout. I think you're going to probably see Veroli avoiding the blade in the preparation for the most part, and setting it up with feints using his feet and using his feet as well, and then closing with the blade but not setting up with the blade. That's my prediction for this bout. Let's break it down and see how it goes now. Alright, so everybody, first of all, this footage comes from Cyrus of Chaos's YouTube channel. So please like and subscribe to him if you haven't already, but if you're a fencer and you're watching this, chances are you're probably already subscribed to Cyrus. So let's get this underway. All right, so I mean, I want everybody just for one thing. I mentioned this in the prep before, but watch Veroli's half retreat. It's just so pretty, and he manages to just sucker people into distance as he goes, and it's really cool to see. But right now, I mean, they're both prepping at pretty close distance so far. This is very close for the both of them, and I think they're both kind of playing chicken right here, seeing who's going to go first out of the two of them. And you see Veroli is very cautiously approaching this so far. He hasn't really crossed to Andrasfi's side of the strip yet because he's likely trying to mitigate the risk of the flesh that comes with Andrasfi. I think, emphasis on
once
think,
again,
that
slow start by both.
the higher seed here is probably
now gonna start
Veroli. Okay, and there's the P card right there.
Im Finale lassen Sie sehr gut angehen. Diesmal Ahnungsgelb.
And we're back to it. Both very cautious, but at the same time at aggressively close distance. And now you see Veroli kind of step forward a little bit more aggressively. He's pulling here. This is a different game from what I'm used to seeing from Veroli at the beginning of the bout. But my prediction about not a lot of on-blade prep. Oh, and there it is. He's going to lunge right into the preparation. Take a nice opposition 6 there. And go right to the elbow. Nice touch. There's nice beaten 2. And you see Veroli also does this sudden high-low below the guard, trying to see if he's going to provoke some kind of reaction on that invitation from Andrasfi. Andrasfi's going to go for a little bit of a flick short. Then he goes a little bit deeper there. Nothing there. Good idea. But look at these, again, subtle half retreats, small feints under the guard from Veroli. He's just a master deceiver. You talk about somebody who's really good at confusing prep. He's it, and baits him out, holds his ground, takes that 6 opposition right there, and Andrasfi manages a double out of that. Pretty solid all around, I gotta say. This is really interesting. Like, not a lot of good things happen in the box, but both of these guys seem pretty intent on kind of playing a distance game here in the box, and we'll see if it works for them. But there's that flesh I mentioned, and apparently they're playing the pit level in Mortal Kombat because Andrasfi just goes off the side of the strip right there, and luckily it doesn't fall. But these elevated strips always give me a heart attack as a referee. I can only imagine how it feels to be an athlete. All right, so again, Andrasfi's on the push. You see Andrasfi working the short targets inside the hand really well, seeing if he can get a provocation there. Lunges into the preparation. It's a double touch. Again, scored 3-2. Veroli right there. Like I said, I think so far what's surprising me about this is how close distance these guys are playing this bout. It's just not usually where you see them. Now they're opening it up a little bit with 8 seconds left, I guess, but at the same time, surprising to see them both operating at such close distance. All right, so most of these are the kind of epic bouts that I love, right? Even though that was a pretty low scoring period, it's not like they were going passively there. They were very actively prepping, closer distance. I think, right now, if I'm Veroli's coach, probably what I'm telling him is to get a little bit more bold with closing action, right? Not just waiting, but seeing if there's an opportunity for him. It seemed like this period, Veroli took more of a kind of passive defense approach. And so what I'm probably telling him as his coach right now is to basically, since they're at close distance, get a little bit riskier, take more chances, because right now it seems like Veroli is leaning more on a responsive game here. So let's see how the strategy shifts in the second period. And again, Veroli's on the pull again. Andrasfi's going with those short flicks inside the guard. Seems to be the primary prep that he's going with there. And you just see Andrasfi is like a Terminator, right? Like, watch his feet for a second. Just drop your eyes to his feet. You see he never stops. There's really no dead tempos to his game. He's just an Energizer bunny of a fencer. And, you know, this is a guy who just, as the day goes on, endurance is through the roof there. And looked like Veroli kind of took an inside parry there. Looked like a 4. Seemed to work. And again, the responsive game is working pretty well for Veroli so far. Again, you know, statistically, his defense is pretty solid. The one area where he's kind of sub 1.0, like I mentioned, is in the counter-offensive game. Not seeing that quite yet from him. And, hold on, my screen just went blank because I was inactive. Okay. So now, 2-meter zone, always a danger zone unless you're one of the Korean women who seem to own the 2-meter zone like it's their territory. Seeing a lot of doubles in this bet. I think they're just looking for that right distance timing. Let's see how they adjust. And again, like I always think it's good, you know, not just to look for the flashy closing actions, but just like sometimes when you're watching these video guys, just look at the feet. And again, just every time I watched Veroli kind of drop that half retreat, keep his torso stable, it's really, really deceptive, and it's something that we could all learn from. You know, I've beaten this like a dead horse about. Very, very nice. Kind of drops his hand, makes the invitation, closes that line. With that 6 opposition, worked pretty well for him. I mean, that's solid. Just kind of more of the awesomeness that I've grown to expect from Veroli and that fast hand of his. The Italians do one thing really well. It's once they find that blade, they lock that line down. They close that line. It is theirs, and that's kind of the beauty of their game. Goes for this flesh in the preparation. That was funny. So he goes for that flesh in the preparation, kind of stops midway through, realizes he's in hell, goes for 2 back flicks, and Andrasfi just manages to get creative there, find the remise. That was, you know, you got to be able to scrap it out for the ugly touches too, right? It's part of fencing. But I've got to imagine that Andrasfi's shoulder's probably hurting from those 2 missed back flicks. So, again, gets aggressive there. Veroli, you know, watch it. It's subtle. The counterattacks are almost always with opposition with Veroli. He's not just hitting straight, but closing the line with the blade when he's making those counters is kind of creating more of a opportunity for single lights. He tries to go into the preparation there, catch him off guard. Andrasfi just hits him with a simple counterattack there, it looks like. Back to it. Pushing close distance there, makes that flick to the inside. Playing in the 2-meter zone again, but still, look at the half retreats. Flick to the inside, nothing there. Boom, straight, and I don't know, yeah, that was just kind of a simple preem repost. Seeing a lot of kind of infighting actions here, closer distance for both of them. Not just not the typical game that I'm used to seeing from either of these guys. back to it. They're just going to kind of release here and get to that break at this point. All right, let's fast forward ahead here to the third and final period. I guess the one thing that my data has been really wrong about so far is the fact that Veroli, we're just really used to seeing him play this pushing and swarming style game, and I don't think he has crossed to Andrasfi's side of the strip a single time here so far. I don't think there's been one single time that he crossed to Andrasfi's side. So he's actually, so far thriving by playing more of this defensive game. And there it is again. Just the Italian defense is amazing, but he's leaning on what you would call conceptually active defense, right? He's baiting Andrasfi out. He's not just waiting; he's baiting him out, and he's able to basically close the line. And it's not about waiting, right? You see in this preparation, he's doing everything he can. Feints, beats, get Andrasfi out, and he takes the parry, but Andrasfi manages to just kind of sneak through there and hit him. And just, yeah, look when, oh, what happened here? Huh? I don't know. I don't know what the halt was for. No idea. So Andrasfi's keeping his tip close to the guard here. Dangerously close with him, but I think he knows that with his athleticism, even with that close distance and being close to Veroli's forte, that he has enough power in his attacks that he can potentially get through it. So just, yeah, it's always interesting when you watch these bouts, right, that diverge from the comfort zone of the athletes. Like, we knew with a lead like this that Veroli would likely pull, but Andrasfi, I have not seen him be able to execute his counter-offensive flesh and that attack and preparation that has become so on brand. Veroli tries to surprise him there. I always think it's good, guys, to if you think that there's a moment in the box when your opponent's coming off the on-guard line, when they're kind of asleep at the wheel, if you think there's an opportunity to kind of go for the attack and prep, catch them off guard without a lot of your own preparation, throw it in there, right? Sometimes people wander off the on-guard line, they're asleep at the wheel, so it never hurts to at least go for that kind of surprise touch. So again, back in the 2-meter zone, it makes a little bit of an out-of-distance attack there, and Andrasfi finds him. 1 minute and 39 seconds left, plenty of time here in the bout. A lot can happen either way. I know it's a 1-point score, final bout, but just, again, the distance that this bout has been fenced at the entire time is mind-blowingly close, and just not what I would expect from either, but it's close enough that neither seems to want to move away from that distance. Close enough in score, I mean. So look at these kind of lower invites from Veroli. Arm is going down here, up here, 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 right? Very Songyang Park style invitation there. But that's how he's kind of provoking Andrasfi into these attacks, and that's the active defense that he's playing. And so far, working for him all right. What's going on here? Andrasfi's kind of just doing I guess, weapon adjustment. Never hurts to do that. Let's fast forward to the next. There we go. He wants to stall the momentum, capture his thoughts. Back to it now. Very aggressive push from Andrasfi as soon as he makes that flick and lunge, and Veroli backs away. He doesn't break distance at all. He continues forward. So, boom. Just, again, finding that way to bait out Andrasfi has been the key to Veroli's game so far. This is a masterclass so far in what active defense looks like. How many times have we seen Veroli actually attack in this bout? Remember, he had that 4.5 attack success ratio, and he's able to pivot to this other archetype now, which is basically pulling and defending, playing that defensive game. And the really, really good fencers like Veroli are able to get away from their primary area of excellence and succeed in other archetypes. And you're seeing that here. That I think, I don't know, maybe out of the 13 touches scored so far, I think maybe one or two of them have been on Veroli's attack. It's a defensive game and it's working for him, but Andrasfi manages to plow through. That 4 there worked for him pretty well. "29 seconds remaining. And let's just look at that. Let's rewind that one really quick because I like the timing that I saw on that. I mean, so Veroli is backing up here. Boom. No, wait. Yeah, you see he kind of gets a little bit off balance there. And that's where Andrasfi manages to go right into the preparation there. So 13-13 now. 18 seconds remaining. They always like to create the drama in the finals of these bouts, don't they? And both are kind of seeing if the other one's going to go, but no, at this point they're being cautious, as they should be. You really don't want to make any extreme kind of hero moves here, if you will, especially in the third period when the score's tied. I don't know what the referee's signaling here. Am I wrong? That was the third period, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. Okay, I'm not wrong. Maybe the referee thought that there was a 1 minute break there. All right, so Veroli gets priority here, which, given the pace of this bout, how it's going so far, that's what he wants, right? You know, he wants Andrasfi's attack. The active defense game is working really well. He's going to try to surprise there, go for the flesh. Referee has to review there. You know, in any kind of match point, referee has to review. Obviously, it's going to be nothing happened there. Simple double, but referee needs to look anyway. Taking a while. Yellow card, I guess, for jostling. Yeah, I could see that. Sure. Didn't hit him too hard. Seemed to go at the same time. I don't know if I agree with that, but it's neither here nor there. All right, once again, Veroli's back on the pull. Now on the push. Oh, that was lucky. That was lucky. Let's review that one again. I mean, that was really close. Continue. Yeah, he missed the first tempo, and then on the continuation, Veroli manages to just lift his arm up and hit. All in all, not what I was expecting at all, based on the analytics. Like I said, you know, just seeing Veroli play almost strictly defensive game in that bout, not super on brand for him, but it worked. It worked well, and you know, this is a bout that you show your students when you want to demonstrate what active defense looks like, and making your opponent do stupid things and making them attack on your terms rather than defending on their terms. So good bout, close to the very end, and a good win for Davide Veroli. So congratulations to him. Hope you found this informative.